Day 90. Oh, that feels like a big old milestone. I like it. I like it. You know, I've noticed I've been doing a really good job lately of keeping my sleep schedule and my filming schedule really organized so that I'm not on here yawning. If you guys are loyal followers of the Phoenix Diaries, or if you go back and listen to some other episodes, you may see me yawn once or twice or thrice. You'll always see me pronounce words wrong, and yeah, it's a good time. It's very authentic, raw, real. So today, finally, I feel like because I feel like I promised this about a week ago, we have the gene key that we are transiting through. Yay! I skipped over gene key 50, but I'll get back to it. Don't y'all worry. So gene key 28, scorpionic key. We're going to be speaking about that. And I'm going to share, as I always do, from the texts, from the books. I have the Dare to be Divine, which is the book Just on the Cities by Richard Rudd. And then I have the Gene Key Bible, which of course is by Richard Rudd as well. We've got our little co-pilot here. I don't have a name for him. I definitely get boy, though. Getting a big boy energy here. So we'll open it up to you guys. Let me know what I should name my cute emotional support manifestation tool. Fun fact, I very much so would like a cat, but I'm waiting on the right timing. And I want a nice bangle kitty. I want a bougie little bangle. I feel a calling. I keep seeing a visual. So even though I'm pretty sure this is like a little leopard stuffed animal, little jaguar leopard, it's still giving me the vibe and the energy. So we'll cleanse the space. Got our support co-pilot here. And yeah, blessings for everything that you might be letting go of. This is a week laced with endings, and therefore, naturally, as the beautiful law of the universe is, what dies shall be reborn. And so we also welcome in resurrection, totality, complete wholeness into this present moment, and softness with yourself as things are ending and as grief might be arising, and fears. This is a fear key, a fear gate. That doesn't mean if you have this key or gate in human design, I'm speaking as well, that you are someone who's just cursed with fear, but it does mean you have a heightened intuition that oftentimes will communicate to you in the form of impulses that we as a society have come to interpret as fear, unfortunately. So we are here to decondition and relearn. I'm just pulling up one quick little resource here, being my own assistant. So 28 gene key, I wanted to get the technical term, and that's not it. Oh yeah, they call it the game player. So the I Ching is a system that's laced into human design and therefore gene keys. So gate 28, gate of struggle, gate of the game player, awareness of what is worth taking risks or fighting for, instinct and intuition of what is worth fighting for or not. Spleen, as you know, is an awareness center. And I think I'm good on that. Is there anything else I want to say here? The energy to face the darkness with courage. Ooh, I love that. Love that. Okay, so that's a great scene setting. Also, I want to say happy birthday if your birthday is this week. Gene Key 28, that forms the channel of struggle, connecting with the 38 in human design to the root center. So we have lower, primal, primitive survival energy, in my opinion, is how I interpret this energy. So knowing what's worth struggling for, knowing what's worth fighting for, and what's not. So let's get into the shadow. We'll go to the gift, and then we'll go to the Siddhi. The shadow is purposelessness. Purposelessness. that's one of those shadows where people are like, ooh, because they know exactly what that feels like. And it's not a comfy, cozy feeling. The gift is Totality, which we will break down, and the Siddhi is Immortality. So if you want to get settled in, take a breath, take a sip of cacao, which is what I have. We're going to get into this nerdy shit. I've already outlined this key, so I've got some highlights I want to focus on. And I've got my sneakers on today. Y'all can't see it, but I bet you can feel it because I'm spicy today. I'm feeling on it, fucking task-oriented. I'm moving around so quickly today. I always work out in my tennis shoes, but very rarely will I incorporate it into my outfit. And so I'm like, oh, I'm so fast. I'm so on it. I actually, side note, purposely wear shoes that have a little heel or that are little boots or whatever to intentionally shift my energy into my feminine flow state. Especially someone like me who can be very strong and very speedy and go, go, go. Those other shoes that are beautiful as well. I love them. The beauty of them really makes me feel expressed and like art. And they also slow me down a little bit and remind me to be more present in the now, because I have to embrace my grace and move with intention. And so it's kind of fun to switch it up and like be in sneakers, and I'm like turbo mode. I'm like a kid with those new light up sneakers. I'm like, look how fast I can go. Okay, I digress. Or do I? Do I progress? The 28th shadow of purposelessness represents your potential nemesis in this regard, because it can ensure that you either never find your purpose or you never follow it through. I mean, that really just, you want to know what the shadow is, that fucking sums it up right there. We will go further just to give you some more words to help your body anchor into it, but yeah. Never find your purpose or never follow through with it. I mean, that's fucking fear all day, baby. All day. We miss 100% of the shots we don't take. I know y'all have heard that. And I don't know who said it, but they were awesome. This shadow cuts to the core of the deepest of all human fears, the fear of death. All fears can be reduced to this one fear. It is the fear of being extinguished, the prime emanation of human fear. Humans will do all manner of things to escape it. We tend to have one of two main patterns that emerge from this 28th shadow. We either deny death altogether until it finally catches up with us, or we allow it to consume us, and in doing so, we live in constant reaction to our fear. All the demonic archetypes from around the world emerge as a distinct personification of the unconscious fear of death that lives within every human being. That's why Scorpios get so much fucking, like, hate. I can say that because I'm a Gemini. I'm like the second most. They be throwing shade at us both. I get it. Using the word darkest need not necessarily be construed as negative. The 28th shadow simply sets us humans up in a falsely constructed reality peopled by good forces and by evil forces. The 28th shadow is a major aspect of the genetic survival equipment that has led to the success of the human species. This shadow, with its fear of death, has sharpened our individual instincts for millennia, and it has led us out of the darker ages of our prehistory into the current age in which individual survival is more ensured than ever before. The most common way of avoiding your fear of death is to adopt a fixed mentality and philosophy, and then live within that philosophy rather than living with your fear. Anybody run from their fears listening to this? Anybody? Probably nobody. Just kidding, nearly all of us. These philosophies are our religions, beliefs, sciences, and systems. Anything that becomes dogma for you and numbs your fear. The human mind does not like surprises. To live in the continual acceptance of death means to live with the continual threat of the unexpected. The human mind would have you believe that your life's purpose lies in the future rather than here and now. So you keep postponing your life until you meet all your fears face to face at the end. You must look deeply into your fears now in order to find your purpose, because your purpose actually lies within your fears. Your purpose actually lies within your fears. My fear of showing up and being seen and being heard, that prevented me from showing up, being seen, and being heard, is the exact fucking thing I needed to face so that I could show up, be seen, and be heard, and serve the fucking world. The most resistance around it. Okay, where was I? You must look deeply into your fears now in order to find your purpose, because your purpose actually lies within these fears. This is why in the great mystical traditions it is said that you must die before you can live. Wish I had some mystical music buttons to press. Couple more nuggets on the shadow here. The 28th shadow represents a deep attunement to the acoustic field and is rooted in frequency and sound. In this shadow, every fear can be perceived as a vibration. These vibrations have been personified by many cultures as demons or entities with a separate existence from their host. This very interesting phenomena forms the basis of many systems that explore the darker, unconscious side of human nature, from shamanism to psychoanalysis. The shaman operates in the world of vibration and identifies the fear patterns as entities, which must be either dislodged from your inner being or transmuted. This is the foundation of true shamanic practices. Psychoanalysis, on the other hand, examines your mental and emotional world and names these same fear patterns neuroses. Other systems give other names to these fear frequencies. The true shaman or therapist also knows that they can never take away another person's fear. They can only help the person identify those fears so that they can be accepted. Wholeness comes about as all your deepest fears are embraced. Thus, it is said that the only way to kill a demon is to absorb it into the light inside yourself. That's why some of those sayings, like "be the light," they're very diluted yet profound messages that have a lot of truth in them. The 28th shadow truly represents everything within your psyche that you do not wish to accept, right down to your core fear of non-existence. Okay, I know I said last nugget, but I want to break down the shadow in repressive and reactive for you, because it's going to help us understand the gift more fully. Did y'all notice my Guatemalan cup? Guatemala. I'm planning on being there next year again. Oh, so excited. You know when you go to a place and you feel like a piece of you was always there and will always remain there? It's either that or a piece of me has permission to emerge when I'm in that setting. When I am on Lake Atitlan, in San Marcos specifically, surrounded by, God, I think it's 7, 8, 9 volcanoes, I feel alive. I feel like I could take on the entire world. I'm so inspired and energized and also held and at peace. It's so fucking cool. There's gotta be something with that combination of elements. How often do you get fire within earth, within water, and the way there's a very special airflow because of this massive lake nestled in the middle of all these volcanoes? I mean, the elements are working in a new fucking way there. It's so cool. Okay. Love you, Guatemala. Okay, repressive nature, hollow. When you repress the darker side of your nature, your life appears hollow and devoid of real juice. The turn away from your fears is to live a lackluster existence with no deeply felt sense of purpose. Your life may be glamorous and successful or dull and mundane, but it has no center. Such people often try hard to appear happy and easygoing, even to themselves, but to anyone who knows their own dark side, they hide nothing. The deeper you go into your fears, the more you feel the authenticity of others. Those who will not face their own demons live a half-life unaware of how transparent they are. Those who will not, These people often pretend to be happy or evolved, but they lack the depth and deep understanding of those who have dared to look into the deep, dark mirrors of their souls. So we have hollow, no juice. Then we have reactive, gambling. The reactive side of the 28th shadow is about risk-taking. These people react to the fear that they feel by transforming their fear into activity. This results in rash and impetuous acts that temporarily cloak the fear. Such people quickly become addicted to this risk-taking pattern and live their lives at the other extreme at such a fast and unpredictable pace that they cannot stop and examine the fear that is driving them. These people will try anything and everything to give them a sense of purpose, but they cannot stop moving. Their most terrifying space is their own inner silence and stillness. So you're either hollow or risk-taking, restless movement. Now, totality. The gift of totality is a wonderful gift to have, and it belongs to anyone who really knows how to trust in life. Totality is the balance between the extremes of the 28th shadow, one extreme that cannot change and the other that cannot commit. The gift of totality means to embrace the whole of your nature and the whole of life, the pleasure and the pain. To be total in the sense of this gift also means to live without allowing your mind to dictate your life. This is a life lived for the moment, in the full knowledge that life purpose can only be found in the present moment rather than in the distant future. To have the gift of totality is to follow a mystic path, a mythic path. As you steadily embrace the various challenges that life brings you, you gather and compound the various aspects of your psyche until you reach what Jung called the state of individualization. The shaman might call this same process the retrieval or incarnation of your full soul. Last nugget here. When you meet life through the gift of totality, you meet life as a game to be played or a stage on which to act, hence the I Ching name, game player. This is life lived as a romance that includes both comedy and tragedy. There is a deep sense of thrill that comes as you progressively face your inner demons. Your demons, as we have learned, are really your angels in disguise. Every situation in your life is devised as a form of initiation that allows you either to remain as you are or to evolve. At the individual level, this gift gives you a profound sense of freedom, even when external forces appear to obstruct, challenge, or entrap you. On the inner planes, totality gives itself to every situation, allowing the game to play itself out with no expectation, but with absolute conviction. When lived in this intuitive way, life shows you that it has an underlying purpose in everything that it brings you. You simply have to align yourself to the dramatic plot line as it unwinds before you. People aligned with the 28th gift have the wonderful knack of handling adversity lightly. The more deeply they accept each feeling of fear that comes, the lighter they grow and the more love they feel towards life. The Siddhi of Immortality. Got 2 nuggets from this. Got a little nugget from the book. I might share a story or 2. I'm going to keep flowing along. P.S. This is a heavy book. And also I did arms today, so I'm like, it's the dark and the light, you know what I mean? Being silly. Okay. When the human mind imagines the concept of immortality, it does so from within its own limitations. The mind can only conceptualize something within time, so it sees immortality as time that simply stretches into the future forever. This is why the mind cannot really grasp what immortality means. True immortality is actually the cessation of time altogether. This is the only way to escape death, to live so entirely within the present moment that death cannot exist. This is why the gift of totality must eventually lead to such a state. Whereas totality means to live life to the utmost, immortality means to die into the everlasting moment. To do this, your sense of identity and separateness must first die, leaving only life in its place. Once there is no localized center of awareness, there is no death because there is nothing to die. Only consciousness remains, moving from one form to another endlessly. Wow, that is so fucking beautiful. That potentially, in my eyes, brings up the concept of what is in me, is in you, is in the fly, is in the bunny, is in the deer, is in the plants, is in our food. Like that. Like I'm seeing the visualization of Pocahontas when the leaves, listen with your heart scene, that song comes on and the leaves are swirling in the colors and it's so magical. And the willow, grandmother willow, and it's like you can see the whole forest is alive with Pocahontas and Pocahontas's situation, and it's remarkable. It feels like it's all happening and not at the same time. Mind-blowing. Okay. The Siddhi of Immortality requires that the individual surrender themselves into his own deepest fear, and in dying, they are reborn as pure consciousness. Such a being realizes their true purpose as the purpose of life itself, to live in the immortal truth of its own nature beyond time and form. When a being attains this state through the 28th Siddhi, they take on a particular mythology. Their specific gift is to highlight the fears of others wherever they go. This is simply an aspect of their awakening operating through their genetics. Thus, they are said to have the gift of casting out demons, because this is precisely what this aura does. Through its grace, it highlights the darkness, unaccepted aspects of one's nature, and absorbs them into its deathless state of consciousness. As all Siddhic states are really one and the same state, this is an aspect common to them all, but it carries specific mythological power in the 28th Siddhi's destiny. They often refer to this channel, the channel of struggle, as I mentioned, as the shaman channel. And so what it was saying there with this aura, someone truly aligned in this purity of consciousness, this immortality, this awareness that I am you, you are me, and acceptance of life completely as it is in this moment, is able to heal another simply by the amount of light that they are welcoming in, and therefore absorbing the darkness and transmuting it. Isn't that fascinating? The dates, by the way, on this gene key are October 24th to October 30th. So if you know someone with a birthday in or around there, I'm so curious. I'm going to reach out to her because I missed her birthday and text her. But I have a childhood friend. She was one of my best friends I had for, oh my gosh, I only saw her maybe earlier this year, and it was like no time had passed. I just squoze her and hugged her. We haven't hung out in a very long time, but there's so much love there. There's so much history there. And we were thick as thieves for probably like 8 years solid when we were kids. So she has a birthday on October 24th, and I'm so curious to see if she is this key or that was the day that we changed out of the 50. So she's either, a 6'2" profile in human design with her sun, her life's work in Gene Key 50, or she's a 1-3 with her life's work in Gene Key 28. I so see the 50 in her, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted if I can remember. This is how my brain works, by the way. I am such a 4-6 in that way. I love relationships. I love investigation. I love getting to the bottom of what draws another to another. Like what part of me needed that energy around me? Was it the 50? Was it the 28? Like when I was an adolescent and growing up, it just, that kind of thing fascinates me. I love, I really think of myself as like a detective when it comes to the way I work in that way. And I also think that's why I love working with families and couples, because I get to find the threads that there is the potential for a lot of success, and I also get to find the threads where there could be potential challenges and inform and teach and guide. It's just awesome. Okay, the 28, immortality, as we know, beauty is forever. The second insight comes from the 28th Siddhi Immortality. Outside time, beauty is eternal. It's forever. How can beauty be both ephemeral and eternal? Why, this is a Siddhi, a paradoxical divine state. Immortality is a word that most humans don't have much time for in our everyday lives. However, immortality is our nature. We cannot die. Our consciousness is eternal. The body dies, but not the indwelling awareness. And just like beauty, immortality has no objective existence on our planet at this time. There are people who manage to extend the life of the body, but probably not for very long. There is talk, in fact, quite well documented, of a 250-year-old man in China, but physical immortality, we haven't seen it yet. Whenever a person discovers enlightenment, they realize their immortality. That is why they seem so at peace. To dare to see the world as beautiful is to contemplate your eternity. We come into and out of this wheel. We are born, we die, and then we are born again. All of this takes place without our remembering that we are immortal. We are God at play, forgetting ourselves so that we can have this game of evolution. And yet from outside the game is seen for what it is, a divine Leela, a sport for the gods. There is a great beauty to it. And when we remember and embrace eternity, suddenly the whole pattern seems more playful and more beautiful. This 28th gene key governs a series of codes within the body which, once initiated, lead to a bypassing of the ordinary aging process. Not only can we extend our age, but we have the capacity to do so indefinitely. The ability of the body to rebuild itself is already known. Thus, it's not such a leap to realize that physical immortality is one day going to be our norm. Many of us cannot imagine such a thing, to live forever in this physical body, but it won't be in this body. It will be in a body that has transcended time and space. For most people, that is unimaginable. We have to open our minds to these cities. One thing I love about Richard, and that each gene key has a Siddhic expression, is that it forces your brain to become like a child again. To contemplate a concept so ridiculous as immortality means that you must enter that state that we were so familiar with as children, where anything was possible. Why wouldn't it be? Of course it is. And that is why this system has so much magic for me. It encourages that thinking that I often neglect because of the systems and ways that we operate in our day-to-day. as adults, as humans, as business owners, as daughters, mothers, wives, husbands, brothers. So, yeah, I hope that this supports you. I have found many themes in the form of podcasts, in the form of dreams around death this week. I, a couple days ago, put on my grandmother's necklace, and she's no longer here. She's Scorpio. She's here, as we know. And I always, when I put her jewelry on, she's always so close to me spiritually, but I love having that physical piece of her. I also was removing etching from a past relationship in the concrete this week. That was a very, like, when I look back on it, I was like, oh my God, of course this week I was doing that when I had intentions to do it long ago. But I've had a plant over top of it. And then what else? I had a revelation today while I was squatting in the gym. And this is the cool thing about contemplation. When you start to train yourself to contemplate and be present, you can contemplate anywhere doing anything. And I was open and receptive to it. We're always contemplating. We're just not always open or receptive to it and engage with it. But I went ahead and engaged with it while I was still squatting, kind of getting set up and about to start my set. And it was around strength. And I was like thinking how strong I felt and how far I've come and how physically I feel that strength. I feel that capability that I've always loved having, nearly always throughout my entire life. I've loved stretching that edge. I've loved the competition of making my physical body good and better than it's been. And not even necessarily with others. It's just for nearly always I'm most motivated by how I can be better, be stronger, do more. And I had the revelation, like in a quantum moment, all these micro decisions where I compromise my strength for weakness. And strength is a very important gene key for me. It's my evolution sphere. So if you're familiar with the golden path, it's where your greatest amount of evolution, all of your sequence relies on that hinge point of your evolution sphere. So there I have the 34.4, which is the shadow of force, the gift of strength, and the city of majesty. And so I am coded for that energy. And that key is very physical. It's very much about the body. It's about what these hands can do, what these legs can do, what my physical vehicle is capable of. And I thought about all those micro moments where I compromised that strength, where I thought it was too much, where I thought it made me less attractive, or where I thought it made me too intimidating, or those moments where I decided it's better to be a little smaller. It's better to play a little smaller. Don't be too much. Don't push that hard. Don't go that far. Don't chase that dream. Don't, it's not the right look for a woman. It's not, the right behaviors for a woman. Somehow I believed along the way, in many instances, these little moments of it's not good, it's too much, it's intimidating. And I therefore attracted relationships that reflected that. Very weak men, both physically weak, mentally weak especially, and then no discipline. And that made me have to make even more decisions to be smaller, I felt, because we have a tendency to adapt to what we surround ourselves with. We just do. We're tribal. We're like, okay, yeah, so that's what they're doing. Okay, I'm gonna, even if I'm only just doing a little bit better, are they even pushing me? No, So you are the top 5 people you hang around with most. When you look around at the people that are around you, do you want to be like them? Do they inspire you? Are they successful? Do they have love? Are they healthy? These are all very simple, fundamental questions to ask yourself. But I had that revelation all in a new way today. And it made me realize I don't want that story anymore. I don't want to believe that I have to be weaker in order to be more appealing. I don't want to turn my light down. I don't want to try less. I don't want to be small. I don't want to be fragile and skinny and frail. I want to feel strong. And I just got so excited because as soon as I addressed that fear, I felt this whole space open up of like, oh my God, how amazing is it that I am going to embrace my full capacity of strength and attract something that mirrors that. Like, that's going to be a very strong counterpart because mentally and physically and emotionally, I pride myself on being a very strong, disciplined, determined person. And it just felt so freeing, that declaration of like, wow, I can't wait to meet this person as my partner, as my romantic counterpart, the friendships I'll call in, the business partnerships I'll call in, that I've now really just decided like we are majestic. That's what we're doing. So if you want to come over here, yes, you will have had to have done that work also. And that's fucking awesome. Because then once we're all circled up and we've all found each other because we're all really embodying our majesty, we're gonna fucking rule. Isn't that cool? Anyway, I love you all. I hope this serves you. Gene Key 28, a very majestic, beautiful key. And I hope the last couple days of it here bring you a little medicine. And then we'll move on to the next key. I also want to hit the 50 too before we get too far out of that energy. I'm going to text my friend now and see what she is. Okay, I love you.